Veteran here, and today we've got a rating your Doomstack video covering a Rapant's hero Doomstack of Paladins. So she's got Rapant's, there's Henry in there, and 17 other Paladins, and of course a Life Wizard. Obviously you want that in there. I can tell that he had more than 100 Winds of Magic, but because I obviously had to load the save file, the game deprived him of it. He's got the Blessing of the Lady, so 20% physical resistance on them all at a minimum. They've got Guardian. Seems like they've all got some equipment. Some of them got a lot of potion of healings, which I don't think you really need if you've got a Life Wizard, but you know, if you just don't have any other items, why not? Let's jump in here and see what we can do. We're going up against 4 armies of Wood Elves, so this is a lot. This is a lot to go up against. This is more than what the Exalted Heroes of Nurgle had to deal with, at least numbers-wise. We'll see how we go. Now, I will rely on using Dwellers Below a little bit. I don't want to cast it too many times, or else I'll run out of healing. But against huge numbers of chaff infantry, it's just a great way to get rid of tons of them. But we've also got to be careful, because we can't just have her go out in the open, or else they'll target her. So I've got to try to keep her hidden, but close enough that she can still cast the spell. But I think what we'll do to begin with is just send them in and see how they see what kind of damage they take, because they gave us a close defeat, which normally the hero Doomstacks perform very well in auto resolve. So we'll see how this goes. I really don't think it's going to be quite as good as the Exalted Hero of Nurgle Doomstack, but we'll give it a go. I do like it though, because one of the big things when playing as Rapant, it doesn't have to be a Rapant herself, but when you're playing as the Chevaliers de Lyonesse, you have 50% reduced upkeep cost on attached heroes, so they also don't have supply lines, which is really cheap. Alright, how about we do this? How about we just sit here and wait for their reinforcements to show up. Now, in the situation here, going up against Wood Elves, I probably would have put Henry on a Pegasus mount rather than a Hippogriff, because, well, it's just a big target that way. So what kind of items we got here? Alright, I'm going to create some control groups for area of effect debuff items.
Yes, your command.
I'll do that different one. Different type.
Battle ready. Orders. Hail. Paladin of Britannia. Loyal and
As for items like
yes,
the Charmed Shield, I wouldn't bother with microing that one in this situation here. We'll see how they go. See how they go. If it starts to go downhill, then I'll start using their items. Alright, let's just speed this up and wait for them to come in a bit. So if we have a look here, the battle difficulty is on very hard, so thank you for setting that up, because I didn't check. We could land them right now. Let's just wait. Let them get a little bit set up. Although this would be an ideal place to fight them. Alright, that's 20 units on the battlefield, and their reinforcements can come in fairly quickly. Let's go in and see how they go. So balance of power at the moment is slightly in the enemy's favor.
my soul is aflame.
Just slightly. And they don't seem to care that we took on the straggler here. Okay.
Meet your death.
Feel my fury!
Yeah, let's keep that one out of it for now.
Knightly valor.
Alright, they don't seem to want to come into melee with us. Fighting in the forest here is probably not the best of ideas. What you could also do is have the Damsel of Life go into the middle of them, but there's a good chance that she'll get killed. Looking at their stats, it's all really high. Paladins are very good fighters, for sure. So, nothing unexpected there.
Paladin of Britannia.
Okay, but what this sort of lacks is damage dealing outside of Dwellers below. Okay, I'm going to make a rush for over here. I think this could end up being a mistake because she could potentially get outrun by Wood Elves. But so far we're not really taking any serious damage, so that's good.
The lady's fury!
I am your man.
And we're fighting in the forest, giving them the advantage there.
Sorceress!
Alright, so I'm going to pop down a Dwellers below, and this should just absolutely destroy them.
I call thee forth!
Eldrazor! Bless our blades! Got them!
It is done!
So 40,000 damage done with just one cast. So yeah, in order to make this really work against tons of infantry, you really do need to have the Life Wizard in there. Dwellers below is incredibly powerful. Because yeah, these guys here, they can take on large units fairly easily. But you really need the Wizard in there to dish out damage to infantry. So Dwellers below costing 14 Winds of Magic. You can probably get about 7 of them throughout a battle. It's not really viable getting more than 100 Winds of Magic in Warhammer 3 currently. Just because every time you go over 100, it just bugs out.
At once! Victory awaits!
My blade is yours!
No, my strength!
Looking at her, yeah, just racking up shitloads of kills there.
It shall be!
Something was shooting at her. Another thing is that every time we cast, yeah, this one over here. Every time we cast, we do the life blooms, and which is just completely healing them. Okay, what if I come in here and try to hide? Just try to get them to stop shooting me. Yeah, there we go. And Dwellers Below's got pretty good range, so from this distance here we can still chuck it in. Jeez, 100,000 damage. So yeah, you use these guys here as the anvil, and this one here is the hammer. Hammer and anvil using Bretonian traditional tactics.
Hail!
Because yeah, these guys here are not going to get affected by the Dwellers Below.
Legendary Paladin!
Took out the treeman like it was nothing. How much damage did the treeman actually end up doing? Not much, considering it's in the forest. It's actually got the advantage here. They just take it all down like it's nothing. So yeah, you've got your anti-single entity with the Paladins, and then you got your anti-infantry with the Wizard. You got all your bases covered.
Attack!
They do not
For
want
the
to.
lady!
And then archers, probably don't need to worry too much about them. You've got tons of missile resistance.
Forthwith!
Paladin of Britannia! I seek
But
glory!
yeah, they're refusing to engage with us a little bit.
Annihilate! Britannia needs me!
For honor!
So how much kills does she end up getting?
Child of light!
Okay,
I
and yeah, we're
serve
getting shot a
the
little bit here.
lady.
Ever faithful!
Orders! Victory is assured!
Okay, better if they surround that eagle a bit. Just try to get a couple of them to go. Oh, hang on. Look at this. This is not ideal.
Give the order! You are done!
Okay, down.
At once!
Let's go over here and take out the Glade Riders because they're harassing our
No
wizard.
hesitation!
Oh, they've got regeneration.
A base!
Passive regenerate. Oh, I see what you did here. You went and got one of the water like treasure spots, which gave you the curse of cannibalism.
The lady
Sneaky. That's
awaits.
temporary. That's temporary.
Paladin of Britannia!
Because yeah, the entire army's got regen. I only just noticed that then. I was also thinking, like, we were taking a little bit of damage throughout this battle. But, you know, it doesn't really matter that much, since if we had taken damage, I would just use healing. So what I'll do now, to make up for the fact that he's got passive regen, which is a temporary buff, I'm not going to cast any more Dwellers Below. Still got 63 Winds of Magic, so what we'll do here is we'll just pretend like I casted the spells, as opposed to them just passively regenerating.
Swiftly!
Few of heart! Your command!
Yeah, problem with fighting Wood Elves, they don't actually want to engage with us.
With haste!
And now we'll see if
Hurry!
Because eventually they'll hit their battle healing cap. So having regen doesn't make them invincible, necessarily.
Britannia!
And again, I'd want to do a little bit more damage with dwellers below.
I am your man! Yes!
Priestess of the lady!
Yeah, they're targeting my wizard here.
Fortune
Be
favors
careful.
you. Swiftly!
But she got passive regen. But like I said, what we'll do is just... I guess I'd cast one more, because there's only 4 winds of magic for Earthblood, which is what I would be using. And we can really speed this up a bit, because 4 armies could take quite a bit to grind through.
The true of hearts shall prevail! It is done!
Maybe leave it above 50 winds of magic. Don't spend any more than that. I think that's fair, considering the passive
Honor the lady!
bonus to regeneration they've got. And then we'll just, like I said, just pretend that I used 50 winds of magic worth for healing across the battle. And we'll see how we go. So let's speed this up a bit. You know, got a bunch of good items. Everything's going fine here. Getting shot up a little bit. We're also just trying to get through quickly. Okay, I got just enough winds of magic to stay at 50 winds and cast 1 more dwellers below. But yeah, people have been asking me a fair bit, which is the best lore of magic in Warhammer 3? I gotta say life magic. Dwellers below just seems so much more powerful in Warhammer 3 than it was in 2, and also the AI is so much more prone to blobbing like this than it was in Warhammer 2. At least that's what I feel like it was. And now that the healing is percentage based as opposed to static number based, on larger unit scales, Earthblood will heal a lot more than it ever did on in Warhammer 2. The only downside is, at least in Warhammer 2, you could end up with 400 or 500 winds of magic as Bretonnia, just by recruiting knowledgeable characters. Whereas you're really stuck with 100 winds of magic currently with Warhammer 3. Even when you choose to skill magical reserves, it's like I said, that ability is bugged.
It is finished!
And it's probably not going to be a priority for them to fix it either.
Britannia needs me! Battle ready!
But we'll see how we go. Alright, so looking at this, there's just a few enemies left to come in. Balance of power is even, without too much damage having been done, so that means that the army also shouldn't be too far off now. All their single entities just get killed off really quickly. So what's Inri's ward save and physical resistance? Okay. But yeah, they're all dishing out decent amounts of damage. We've also got the Banner of Eternal Flame, which you should be very careful about who you go and attach that to. So it's totally fine if you're using it on Wood Elves, but if you know, don't go equip that on High Elves.
Yes! For the king!
We want to end this battle now as quickly as possible. What we got to do is try to take out the leadership units, the heroes and lords and stuff like that. Use Tormentor Sword to keep them pinned down.
Legendary Paladin!
And don't worry too much about the chaff out here. Man, there is a real problem with Warhammer 3 and single entities connecting in like a duel with each other.
At once! Destiny!
Hail! Britannia! I am your man!
Hail! For the
Back in there.
king!
Come on, one more hit. You got it. Yeah, they're really just trying to push it around a lot. There you go. Get in there.
Paladin!
So yeah, like I said, these last 50 winds of magic, just pretend I
My blade is
used heal
yours.
spells instead.
Honor and duty!
Because if we cast 1 more Dwellers Below, we'd probably just win the battle outright now.
With
What are you
haste.
doing here?
Battle ready!
This one here can do a little bit of area effect damage. It's not fantastic though.
Victory awaits! Paladin of Britannia! Orders! Knightly valor! Victory is assured!
My gifts are yours.
Paladin of Britannia!
Alright, so... Of the 5,000 troops that have come onto the battlefield, all of the reinforcements have come in now. They only have 1,800 left. We've destroyed more than half of their armies, more like 2/3 of it. So that means we should be very close to the army losses at this point. Very, very close to
For
it.
the king!
Because need to do, I think it's 72%.
Anon.
Doesn't matter what the balance of power says. It's actually, I think it's actually close to being in our favor now.
Your command!
Know my strength.
And none of our units hit their max cap. Which is pretty good, because they've been getting shot. They've been in melee against Wood Elves, which are high damage units. I know they've got that passive regen, but they could have used up all their regen by now. Which they haven't. Let me just have a look at this. No, it's not going to show us. What about regrowth? Right, that shows how much health left she has to regenerate.
Hurry.
When we do this. Yeah. So that's showing how much health she has left to regen. But she's actually taken a fair bit of damage throughout the course of the battle. Right, you have to put the ability over the top of the above icon here. No, you just put on them anywhere and it shows it. Okay, that's fine. Because yeah, it doesn't show the amount of regen these guys have left, only there's a spellcaster. So it's very bugged, that information. I feel like it's just leftover code from Warhammer 2 that they tried to get rid of, but they didn't quite get rid of it completely.
The lady's fury.
I am your man!
Alright, surely killing these tree men here will cause the army losses, because they're worth tons of bounce of power. And they go down really quick.
Paladin of Britannia!
But almost the entire army has magical attacks as well.
For Leoka!
Curious to see what weapons they've got equipped. Now the bounce of power is definitely in our favor. We're just waiting on that army losses. But yeah, none of them hit their regen cap against 4 full armies of Wood Elves. Brass Cleaver. Yeah, you got a bunch of really good items there.
Battle ready!
Okay, just started playing Bretonnia music. Can't speed it off. Still no Lord there. That should be worth lots of pounds of power. If we could kill that quickly, that'd be good. Yeah, as far as I can see, none of them are at the regen cap, and all these missile units here just aren't doing enough damage to them. Oh, another thing is that you don't have 200 armor. That's one thing that you can do to improve them. It's really not a big deal, but you could become immune to... Yeah, it's possible for every single unit in Britannia to be completely immune to non-armor piercing damage. Oh! Henry is the first one to reach his regen cap. Why is that? Because he's on a fucking hippogriff. Like I said, he should have been on a Pegasus or something smaller in this situation here. Sometimes going bigger is not always better. Surprised the army losses just isn't triggering. So yeah, I pulled him out of it just so he doesn't take any more damage because that might slow down the army losses. Just want the battle to be over now. Because yeah, they've clearly won. Okay. But yeah, these goddamn archers, they're so slippery. There we go. There's the army losses. All right, let's have a quick look to see which units, if any, hit their max regen count. We know Henry did. No, nobody else did. Okay, that actually performed a lot better than I thought it did, and it was on very hard battle difficulty as well. I'm curious to know the equipment. Like I said, we left 50 winds of magic in reserves just to, like I said, pretend that we used heal magic instead of the passive regen, because I think that's temporary. What I think he did is he went out and got one of the sea encounters and waited until he got the curse of cannibalism, which gives you, I think, 10 turns of regeneration for the entire army. So some other ones that you can get is Mathalan's Blessing for 25% physical resistance, and Sorcered Blades for 8 melee attack, 8 melee defense, and various other things that you can get. But because they're temporary, it can kind of, what they'll do is, they'll go and grab it, get all these sea encounters, and then be like, look how strong my Doomstack is, but it's temporary.
Freedom can be bought. The Leoness!
Okay. So, we're on the attack here, so let's have a look at what's going on. Right, so an endgame crisis happened here. So... Right, you got magical attacks as soon as you do the Grail Vow. Did they all get their Grail Vow? I don't think they all did. Because I noticed some of them didn't have magical attacks. Yeah, some of them haven't quite finished yet. That's really not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal, but, you know, you should finish it. But at the same time, I just took on 4 full stacks of endgame crisis, Wood Elves, and we walked out of it with virtually no damage. Ah, dog's barking. Something down across the roof. It's probably just a possum. Anyway, in terms of rating this, it was really good. It took on 4 full stacks. You know, single entities beware. They got magical attacks. They barely took any damage. You got a really good spellcaster in there. I went into this thinking, oh yeah, this will be like a 9 out of 10 at best, because I don't know, surely it's not going to be as good as Festus's one, which was like definitely a 10 out of 10, but it met the criteria for a 10 out of 10. So here we go, another 10 out of 10. There we go. It's really good. It's really good. You did a good job of it. You know, not all of them have fantastic equipment. This one here just got basic stuff. I'm sure you got a few Armors of Destiny in here somewhere. Trickster's Helm, yeah, that's just as good. Sort of. So yeah, really good stuff in here. And it's only turn 120, so it's not super late to get that. But yeah, what I was talking about before about armor. If you get the tier 4 armory building, you get armor +2 all armies. Which I believe also applies to garrison as well. Yeah, it does. See that? Look at that. These peasants have ridiculous amounts of armor here. Does that actually not apply to the
For Britonia, for
No, it definitely does. It's just their base armor was not at 155. It was maybe 80. I actually can't remember what it was to begin with. So yeah, he just hasn't quite hit the cap. With armor, when you hit 200 armor, that's when you are guaranteed to block 100% of all non-armor piercing damage. I'm not going to explain exactly how that works, but just trust me, that's how it works. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. Just like every Doomstack is a 10 out of 10. I was actually very impressed by how well it did. It took out the treeman like it was nothing. The spells were just great for getting rid of chaff infantry to speed up the battle. If we have a look here, you got Blessing of the Lady. There it is. Curse of Cannibalism. And yeah, that's it there. But yeah, it was good. Anyway, that's the end of this one here. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it, whether you think this one deserves a 10 out of 10. Things to keep in mind is that, you know, it did just take out 4 full stacks with absolute ease and is at full strength. You know, apart from Henry, who, in my opinion, should have been on... Oh, you know what? You really could have had him on a Barded Warhorse and that, because that way he could have been next to, Repants. And I reckon him being on the Hippogriff was just the main reason why he was just getting hit so much. You're just stacking up way too much, regen here. Potion of Toughness, Seed of Rebirth. I think some missile resistance could have gone a long way there, because he's definitely not at the resistance cap. But yeah, anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Appreciate you, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.